how do we rate Rotary? Well, I don't think as Rotarians we can. So we asked international branding agency Siegel and Gale to do that for us. And they interviewed or they checked on a number of the world's leading service and humanitarian organisations. And they came back to us and said, Rotary is unique. So, being Rotarians, we said, why? They said, okay, we'll give you 4 good reasons. They said the first is that your classification system has meant that your clubs are made up of people from many different businesses and professions and within the community. And because of that, when you discuss an issue or a challenge, you bring many different viewpoints. And that diversity makes you very strong. So you think differently. And they said when your members come to a Rotary Club, they bring with them their leadership skills, their experience. And so when a Rotary Club plans, they do it very well. And they said, we found very few Rotary projects that have failed. And then they said, you've got passion and perseverance. And they said, whenever we go to a Rotary meeting, and it doesn't really matter whether it's a Rotary Club or even an international convention, when we walk in, we just feel that passion. And for perseverance, well, obviously, an organisation that for 31 years has been fighting polio and is going to stay there to the end, that's perseverance. And the 4th reason they gave us was one that I found very interesting. They said you've got a network of over 35,000 clubs in almost every country in the world, and you work together. And clubs that have got resources, share them with clubs in other areas that have needs but lack the resources. And the result of this is that Rotary conducts community service on a global basis. And I've often thought back since that time on those words, community service on a global basis. And they said, put those together, and Rotary is unique. So having established that Rotary is unique, what makes Rotary so special? It's the values that we have as Rotarians. Those of you who went to the International Convention in Seoul would have heard the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka saying, we are grateful to have Rotary in our country, as a community with Rotary is better off in every way than one without it. And why should that be so? Well, of course, it's because we as Rotarians serve to make our communities better places. And it really doesn't matter how you define community. It can be your neighbourhood, it can be your country, it can be our world. We serve our community. The Prime Minister of Sri Lanka knew of some of the wonderful achievements of Rotary. It was the Rotarians in his country, and particularly past President Ravi, who had arranged for the ceasefire that allowed the children of the embattled north of that country to be immunised against polio. And it was that campaign that eradicated polio from Sri Lanka. And he knew of the project undertaken by Rotary, one of the best managed projects that I have ever seen, that built 22 world-class schools after the tsunami, schools that set a standard for education in his country. So he understood what it meant when Rotarians serve their community. And it would be true to say that our greatest value is our commitment to service. But out of that commitment for service comes another important value, and that's friendship. Because we associate with people who think and want to act as we do. And it's very logical that that leads to friendships. And those friendships strengthen our service, because collectively, together, we can do so much more than we could ever do on our own. And if you're serious about wanting to make your community a better place, then obviously you have to deal with the people of your community honestly. And honesty is another important value of Rotary. And then there's trustworthiness. Parents trust us with their children. They let them go on youth exchange or to leadership training or to activity camps. And often they trust us with their money. And Bill and Melinda Gates have given a very significant amount of money to Rotary, because they know that we're going to spend it wisely and that we will report openly, honestly, and accurately. And they trust us. And that trust is important to us in the community. And then, if we're going to be involved in all this activity, it's easy for people to say, what's the payback? And there is no payback, because we do what we do because we want to, and not because of any reward that will come back to us. So it's unselfish service. And I think we can say that we try to be good people. And there's a goodness in Rotary. And that's another important value. So we know that our values, our principles, make us the sort of people that we are, and we are making Rotary special by the things that we do. But there's one more key value which is very important. Now, I know that some of you who have heard me speak will have heard me use this quote before, but it comes from St. Teresa. She said, the biggest disease today is not leprosy or tuberculosis, but rather the feeling of being unwanted, uncared for, and deserted by everybody. The greatest evil is the lack of love and charity, the terrible indifference to our neighbour. At the hour of death, when we come to face God, we're going to be judged on love, not on how much we have done, but how much love we have put into our actions. Now, you and I, as Rotarians, are not prepared to be indifferent. We don't accept that people should feel unwanted, unloved, and that their lives are worthless. We care, and that's that other important value of Rotary. And as we care, I believe we show that love that St. Teresa talked about. We want as many people as possible to know and understand that those who wear this Rotary badge are people that they can trust are people that care about them and people that are prepared to help them to improve their lives. Those are the values: service, friendship, honesty, trustworthiness, unselfishness, and care. And when we apply those principles to the work that we do, and when we really reach out in service, then we touch the lives of people. They know then that we care. And this is what makes Rotary so special. You and I know that together we make a difference. We change the world by using those qualities, one person, one community at a time. And then collectively, we come together and we do what we know is right. And as we do that, we show that we are Rotary making a difference. Thank you.